Hello guys, so continuing my style review series, today we're gonna talk about Catherine Deneuve. Beautiful example of a French chic. As we know, French women have a certain vibe if we talk about fashion. Videos about French chic are very popular. Many women follow some French fashion bloggers, their rules of how they dressed, how classy and timeless they dress. I totally agree with this and I love this subject. I myself watch loads of videos about this, and when I was doing the research about Catherine Deneuve, the example of that real French chic, I really could feel why it is timeless. Also how well it is representing her body type and her vibe itself. If you're new to my channel, I'm gonna leave the link on my Kibbe playlist down below. David Kibbe, the one who wrote the book Metamorphosis in the 80s about 13 body types. And in this book, Catherine Deneuve is an example of a soft classic body type. And today we're gonna talk about soft classic. These women are very balanced. They look moderate in everything, more or less. They just have some extra softness. Softer lips, softer face, softer cheeks. They look slightly lighter probably than classics or dramatic classics, but soft classics, they are probably more gentle. They can have some figure, but at the same time they're not lush or voluptuous. They are much drier. They look pretty modest, and the way she dressed is really representing how well she could feel her style, how well she could feel what exactly looks great on her. So Catherine Deneuve, she was born in 1943 in Paris. She became a very famous actress, and The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, probably that was the most famous movie with her. It was one of her earliest movies, but she became very famous after that movie, and it was made in 1964. So she was just 21 years old, but from that movie I think things started for her. And this is very interesting because every time I'm doing a style review of an actress, we can see how a movie that played a big role in this woman's career becomes her signature look. I've done pretty many style reviews now of those very famous actresses of the 20th century. Each one of them was pretty much style icon, and that is an interesting thing that I noticed, that every time we see a movie that was a breakthrough for her, that was the key point of her career, the style that she had in that movie would stick to her for some time at least. So if we talk about Faye Dunaway, where she played Bonnie and Clyde movie, she would then have this beret pretty often in her regular style because that stick to her, that style, because she got famous with this movie, very, very famous. That was kind of her successful action, if we can say so. So she would repeat that. Or Elizabeth Taylor when she played Cleopatra, and then we can see how in her life she would still incorporate it in her style, that African vibe, those colors, that Egyptian eyeliner. So that style would stick to them very well. And if we talk about Catherine Deneuve, that's what I noticed too. In The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, she looked like a Barbie doll. Everything was very tidy. Her hair was back-combed and had very soft outline, rounded outline. Of course, it was 60s, so she had some volume on top. And then she had that bow, like a hair bow, like a hairband with a bow. And then I would see her having that from time to time after that movie. So that was kind of her signature look. But I could see many photos of women were having that volume and that hairband like this. So her hair was naturally dark, so this is her pictures before, and she made them light. She became blonde and she had that very uniform color, honey blonde, and she didn't have any darker roots, lighter ends or anything like that. It wasn't highlighted hair, it was just overall lightened hair, which looks actually pretty good on soft classics, and soft classics look better with overall hair color rather than with some stripes, highlighted hair. It just looks more tidy on them. They just look overall perfect and very good. If their hair is tidy, they look tidy up. So in the 60s, we have time of trapeze dresses, short dresses, dresses that keep its shape, stiff fabrics, mini skirts, boots, and stuff like that. And every time I'm talking about this or that celebrity, I can actually see how she would incorporate those trends of that decade into her own wardrobe, and everybody was pronouncing that style slightly differently. She, as a soft classic, would pick up pretty gentle colors. If she used those trapeze dresses, she still would have her hair very tidy, very soft outlined. Her makeup has never been overly done. As makeup of her eyes, for example, had never been aggressive. She didn't add too much geometry. Her makeup was always very modest. She had that black eyeliner, which was not very thick, some eyelashes, some blush, some very fresh and rosy lips. I didn't see her overloaded with makeup, especially in that time. We're gonna see on her on other decades later, but at that time she didn't have that. We can see white classic shirt, but with some ruffles. This is again a very good example of a soft classic addition. Soft classic is still classic, so all those classic pieces, classic shirts, classic white crisp shirts, they look great on them, but with some femininity, but with some yin addition to it, with some soft addition, which would be ruffles in our case. But still, you can see it's not overloaded, it's not strange shapes. Everything is pretty classic. Or she could have a blouse with a bow here, also very soft, very beautiful, and again, very classy detail. Headscarf looks gorgeous, and it was very popular actually in the 60s, and she was also incorporating that. White trapeze coat, of course, and the boots. In the 60s, she would have pretty often that kind of coats that were not very long, not elongated, but pretty short. Very clean lines, very light colors, also looked very good on her. Sometimes when soft classics use a lot of aggressive geometry, that can slightly interfere with their delicate beauty. But if it's small and if it's not super aggressive and super aggressive colors, that can compensate it, so they can look pretty classy, chic, and it's very French, I think. She would wear pretty often simple tops or t-shirts without additional ruffles or accessories, which looks very modern actually, very casual, I think. Of course, turtlenecks. In my every video I see these stars wearing turtlenecks because it's a timeless piece. Now this is very casual, like we know now, the Parisian chic. T-shirt, classic shape glasses, cardigan, hair bun, very tidy hair bun though. It's not natural hair bun, but very classic hair bun. Straight pants, belt. So basically, if you see a woman nowadays, a fashion blogger that is representing style like this, it would be totally modern nowadays, but that was made in the 60s by her. This is what we call Parisian chic, this is what we call French style, and this is what we call classic. Look at that perfect black, simple knitted cardigan. Chunky knits. No accessories, just white t-shirt underneath. Looks gorgeous. I actually want that kind of cardigan myself. I'm looking for it right now. So if you know if they sell it somewhere, like that chunky knit cardigan like this, approximately like she has in this photo, please let me know in the comments. Now she would wear some curly dresses with some ruffles, which looked amazing on her. She used feminine details in moderation. Very classic overall silhouette, very clean lines, very soft classic. Now, symmetrical jacket with some modest ruffles looks amazing too. They look great with symmetry, the symmetrical pieces. With they can have central parting in their hair, they can have buttons up front here, so that looks very, very chic on them. Any dresses with buttons in front, any cardigans with buttons in the front, everything that is very symmetrical, all that looks great on them. Suits are not elongated and not very stiff, which also one more plus to a soft classic lines. Of course, leopard print things, and again, in my every video I found somebody with leopard print something. Very chic for everyone. Of course, depending on what you have in the rest of your outfit, the way you build your outfit, how you combine this thing with some other things, of course it's very important. Beret, very French thing too. Now, she could have some natural pattern, but the constructed and symmetrical shape of a piece would balance that overly natural vibe and pattern of an item. Now let's go to the 70s, and 70s is a very different decade. It's very different from the 60s. In many of my previous style review videos, we already discussed with you how it was different. Like 60s was geometry, short shapes, small shapes, unnatural makeup, unnatural hair, and exaggerated things. And 70s is more natural, everything is more elongated, less precise shapes, everything is relaxed, undefined, no geometry anymore, everything is natural, hair color is natural, hair is natural, makeup is natural. So it's like a huge difference. And that's what we see in Catherine Deneuve's look in the 70s. So she lightened actually her hair. So she made it a little bit less natural, which is interesting. So she made her hair platinum blonde, almost platinum blonde, like yellowish blonde, especially by her roots, by her face, especially at the front there. As far as women started being on the sun more often and the tan became very trendy, she started getting tan as well. So as a contrast with this tan, that light hair became even lighter. So that is the change, the big change that we see in Catherine Deneuve. Before, she had very light porcelain skin with this honey blonde hair, but now we have more contrast. Her makeup becomes brighter, which is interesting. Again, when I looked on the actresses that would go through the 60s and the 70s, they all more or less would go for more natural and calmer looks in the 70s. But Catherine Deneuve, she now has these brighter eyes. She now has these brighter cheeks, brighter lips. She started advertising the Chanel No. 5. She definitely started looking brighter, just brighter in general. But in terms of the shape and everything, I think the makeup and everything else, it was made very delicate. So I just don't think that it somehow interfered into her soft classic vibe. So makeup becomes more artificial, I would say, because we are adding some blue colors and green colors in there. She cut her hair shorter, and then those very beautiful long sleeve dresses. That all looks amazing on soft classics. We can see more boho examples, more boho patterns. That's true, but it's interesting that boho has its own colors too, and classics and soft classics have their own colors too. So when we have a piece that has a boho pattern in it, but it is made in classic colors, that is a different thing. Like that item looks differently. That makes this skirt look more soft classic than natural, which is interesting. Large jackets, pants, large glasses, large bags. It all looks best on flamboyant naturals. So probably in the 70s it was the style of mostly flamboyant naturals, but she wasn't tiny as well. So I would say that on her it was probably the biggest that she could wear, but I think that looks still great. If it was bigger, then it would be already too much for her. She's still much more delicate in bone structure in her face, so something too big that would interfere. Now, she started experimenting with sleek hair. I haven't seen her in the 60s wearing sleek hair. Blue eyeshadow. When soft classics are wearing something artificial, we're adding too many light, bright colors, too clean colors, not complicated colors. And untidy hair, it looks slightly too cheap on them and slightly untidy. So for them, it's better to stick with more expensive, more classic colors and look more tidy just in general. For them, that's the key for their look, just to look all together always. Now, that is very interesting glasses that she had. Oval, blue tinted lenses, blue transparent frame, which is very interesting. It's like a jellyfish a little bit. I like it very much on her. It looks very all together. It doesn't look too large, too aggressive, or too small. It doesn't look too much. That blue color still looks like an addition to her look, and I think that was probably pretty famous in the 70s, that kind of glasses too. I think they started making all those different colored lenses. She was the one who was rocking the hoops all the time. She had different kinds of hoops, different sizes of them. Mostly her hoops were pretty middle size, like that, and she was famous for those hoops. And now we go to the 80s, then 90s, then 2000s, and then 2010s, and now. So what can I say? Like, throughout those decades, I didn't see much change in her look. I think she looks very classy all the time. She sticks to same style laws that probably she created for herself when she was younger. Since then, her hair is always light, or at least I've seen only that her hair is still same color. Her makeup is never over the top. She's aging very beautifully. Her lips are always very gentle, sometimes with some addition with red lipstick, but mostly it's very beautiful pink color and smoky eye, the brown calm smoky eye, or just lashes and very light makeup. Her hair is always tidy, it always has some rounded curve. Her suits are very classy. Again, nothing is over the top. I never see her overloading herself with accessories because probably she knows it doesn't fit her so well. So in terms of proportion, I also see that she doesn't play too much with strange, weird proportions. Everything is very proportionate. She keeps her style to a minimalist and sometimes is adding some feminine, glamorous additions to her style. Everything looks very normal. Everything looks very 2021. So I was pleasantly surprised because of that, and I loved doing this research, and I will see you very soon. We have several more types left. I'm gonna leave the links on my 3 Pinterest boards as an inspiration for the body types, some famous celebrities as body types that are in official David Kibbe's list, so you could see under soft classic who else is soft classic of famous celebrities and how they're dressed basically. And also third board is where I'm picking the pieces that would suit for the soft classics, like capsule wardrobe for the soft classics. Okay, thank you so much guys, I'll see you soon, bye bye. Also, you can subscribe on my Instagram, all the links I'm gonna leave down below. Also, you can become my sponsor or subscribe on my Patreon for some exclusive videos, some early access to these videos, and just if you want to support me and my channel. Thank you so much guys, and I'll see you very soon, bye bye.